Hello everyone and welcome back to another sketchbook tour. So this sketchbook here is the SMLT Art Watercolor Authentic book. This book only has 12 pages, so that's 24 pages if you count both sides, and it's actually 22 because I pulled one page out for something else. So it's a bit of a short book, but I will just talk a little bit more about each piece, each page, to sort of make this a nice video. You can hang out with me, have a coffee. I had my coffee. There's a bit left. Looks kind of gross. It's been sitting on my desk while I watch YouTube. Watched some Bernadette Banner and some Rachel Maxey, and my neighbors finally quit mowing the lawn. So let's get into this book. The stickers on the outside, by the way, I got a long time ago from Wish. They're just like fake vintage hotel and airline advertisement type stickers. I like the look of them. They're very glossy, and that was the one time I tried out Wish. I just got some stationery stuff and then never went back because it's pretty unreliable and probably very unethical. But I like these stickers, so if you're wondering, no, I haven't been to all these places. They're fake. So this sketchbook I started on June 9th and I finished on July 17th of this year, 2020. So pretty quick, but obviously again, there's not a lot of pages. This first page here is a watercolor and ink drawing that I did for holographic stickers, which I have a few left in my Etsy shop if you're interested in them, but I think they're quite cute. I only ordered a few, but I think I will order more in the future. I want to try out a few different sticker manufacturers because I found one that's in Canada basically, and I'd like to buy local if I can because that way I save on shipping. And then I make more of a profit. I'm not very good at running my small business, to be perfectly honest. Like, I could be doing a lot more math, and I'm not doing it. I'm doing like the minimum amount of math. Moving on to this next page here, I was just, oh cool, my neighbors are mowing the lawn again. Hopefully you can't hear it, but I'm just gonna keep talking anyway. These I was just doodling, basically, using some colors that I got from Stone Ground Paint Company, and they were really fun. I really enjoy these color schemes that I have, the sort of yellow going into this really hot quinacridone magenta. I think they're really cute. I put up some of these on my Redbubble as stickers and patterns if you're interested. This page over here was painted at a beach. We went camping, which was a nice socially distant activity to do. Get out of the valley for a bit. I live down in a river valley, so you don't see much except the sides of the valley, which are of course very cool because it's the Canadian Badlands and they're stripy and it looks kind of awesome, but I was getting a bit sick of it, so me and my neighbors slash coworkers, they're sort of in our like socially distant bubble at this point. We went camping and it was really nice. We didn't camp for very long. We just went for a weekend. But there was a lake called Beaver Mines Lake, and there were a lot of snail shells, so I painted some of those. This is a little beetle that visited my painting while I was working on it. He landed, so I drew him before he flew away. There's a little like there's a little feather there and a stick. And then this squiggle has sort of a funny or maybe a bit icky story, but it's a freshwater lake, of course. A lot of mysterious things live in freshwater lakes. And I think the problem with being interested in nature and, you know, having done a little bit of science before I did my degree and stuff is that I just know too much. And you know, like, I don't know, if you're a kid and you see something, you're like, oh, that's just like a string in the water, whatever, forget about it. But I saw that and I was like, God damn, that's a horsehair worm. That's disgusting. So we saw a horsehair worm like swimming around. Super gross. We found lots of leeches too, which are kind of cute. And I mean, like, I'd prefer leeches over ticks. if we had to start splitting, you know, invertebrate hairs. But anyway, we saw a horsehair worm swimming around, and they don't do anything to humans. They're parasites to insects, but still super nasty. Anyway, so I didn't mean to draw this, but then my boyfriend grabbed my pencil and was like, I'm drawing the worms so you never forget. Anyway, so that's what that is. These pages here, of course, are from my How to Paint Portraits video that I will link. Maybe I'll try those little like info things that appear up here, over there. So if you'd like to watch that, it'll be over here. And I'm quite proud of these. I think they turned out quite nice. This is another painting that I did on a camping trip. So it's sort of like split up. I painted these before we went camping, but I wanted to use this side of the paper. But we found a toad doing a small interpretive trail on the side of Castle Mountain, or no, Table Mountain in Castle Provincial Park. There was a toad, and we didn't know what toad it was, and I made a joke like, oh, it's probably just called like the Great Canadian Toad. And yeah, it's just called Canadian toad. And he was big. He was like the size of a hamburger. Like he was probably about this size. Like I just wanted to like grab him, but of course we didn't grab him, and he sort of flopped away. But that was, I think, a highlight, because none of us were expecting to see a toad on like a walking trail, and we did. And there were plenty of mosquitoes, like so many mosquitoes, so I'm sure he was eaten well. This is the permit from camping. I just felt like I'd keep that. And then there were these big cow parsnips everywhere that grow in the mountains. And this one was like 4.5 feet tall, like almost as tall as me. I'm 5'1". I'm really short. But yeah, they're huge. And this one was growing like right in our campsite. So just a quick sketch of that guy, that big old guy. Like these stems are probably like, I don't know, they're pretty thick. They're like sunflower type thick, which you know, that's also kind of gross. Like I have a garden, and I just think, I don't know, plants can be so grotesque sometimes, and also so beautiful. Nature's weird, man. Here are a few stones just inspired by the lake stones that we saw. This is a really nice color. This is Vivianite from Stone Ground Paint Co. I know I talk about them a lot, but I love their natural pigments. They're so nice. They're so nice. And this has, I think, a bit of felsite mixed in, which is another pigment by them. But yeah, it just granulates so nicely. Like these are it's like one wash and then one glaze, and that's it. And you get all this lovely texture. Like it sort of feels like cheating sometimes. It's so much fun. This piece here, of course, is painted with paint that I made myself. I'll pull it over here. I did finally get more pans. I ordered them online and they arrived. So I'm gonna try to, at some point, mass produce some of this iron oxide paint that I've been making from local stone, and put that on my Etsy for sale. No ETA on that. I'm not gonna give one, but when I have them ready, then I'll post on Instagram, and I'll probably mention it here depending on what my upload schedule's like. But anyway, I do intend now to sell at least a few pans of this iron oxide. I'm working on picking some other pigments too, but I have to go out to the hills, and it's been rainy, and you can't really go out there when it's rainy because there's a lot of bentonite clay and it's really slippery and you're just gonna fall on your ass. So when it dries out again, I gotta get some more rocks. Here are some other camping paintings, again, sort of jumping around, but these are some plein air. They're sort of fake plein air because it was pretty buggy, so we didn't stand around an awful lot, but I took lots of pictures, And then when we were back at our campsite with all of our bug spray and our chairs and stuff, then I did some paintings from the pictures I took on the phone. So these are just really, really quick watercolor landscape studies, trying out some shorthand for landscapes, basically. So you can see I'm not putting a lot of detail in here, but rather I am letting the paint do what it wants, but also guiding it to make the gradations that I wanted, and the textures that I wanted. So I think this side worked out quite well. This one's my favorite. So there's a sunset light on the top of this mountain, and then it goes into shadow, and then there's a bit of atmospheric perspective down here. So basically I'm just laying in the paint in a particular way, and it'll do this for me, which is really cool. I'll see if, here, let's get a little bit closer so you can see some of the paint texture in there and some of the dendritic motion, finger type bleeding, and I just think that's really cool, and I'm happy with those, especially given that, like, I was painting them really lazily at a picnic bench waiting for our dinner to cook on the fire. Very aesthetic, very calming. Aside from the bugs, there was one night where I was being a total baby about the bugs. I was like, I'm going in the tent, I can't, because I turned my head and like 3 mosquitoes were flying at me like mosquito attack, and I just gave up and I went in my tent. Like a total baby. And there was this other bug that was screaming all night for a girlfriend. You know, I admire his courage, but dude, shut up. Shut up. Camping is really nice, but also it makes it so much nicer when you get back to your house and there's no screaming bugs trying to eat you. Anyway, here are some more runestones that I painted in watercolor. And again, I will link over here, the little tutorial that I did last week on how I paint these. I thought it would be neat because I've kind of worked this down to a really, really specific method with a few steps. So yeah, you can check that out if you like. This side here, I was just doodling basically. This is using the Arteza half pan watercolor set that I have. My Arteza affiliate links are in the description below if you're interested in picking those up. They re-wet really well, so they're fun for just like mindless sketching for me. I really like how this yellow horse turned out. It's sort of an exploration of something I'd like to look into making more art of later, which is Welsh fairy tales. They often describe people as wearing all yellow and seated upon a yellow horse with yellow tack and stuff like that. So like very ridiculously color coordinated and very medieval, which I think it's kind of funny. Like they're describing all these people like they're all wearing gold and that's it. So of course I painted like a gold horse, like an entirely gold horse. And on this side I did like an entirely red horse, but I don't really like how this turned out. I was drawing it with no reference, and that led me astray in this particular instance. This other one also was without reference, but I think I was just on more of a roll then. Now back to reference. I'm mostly on Facebook. I just follow photography sites and like meme pages, but the photography pages, sometimes you get some really stunning reference images that I'll use for my sketchbooks. And just for learning. So someone posted a photo of a white-tailed deer, a photo series actually, of her in several different poses, and she was so pretty, she was so long. I had to draw her, and I think this drawing, I'm just really, really proud of it. Do you ever get that feeling when you're drawing and you're like, oh man, this is going so well. I'm the best. This is awesome. That's how I felt when I was painting this deer. And this sketch here turned out really good too, I think. And these ones are okay. They're not quite as good, but this is like the baller page. This is the, if I had like sketchbook thumbnails, I don't do sketchbook thumbnails with like pictures of inside the sketchbook because there's so many things inside the sketchbook to feature, so I just do like that title card. I'm sure you saw it when you clicked on this video, but like if I was gonna do a thumbnail, I'd put her because she's the best thing that I did in here, I think, anyway. On this side are some landscapes. So taking what I learned from doing these camping landscapes, I did some just in grayscale, just with one pan of black paint. No reference, just riffing off of what I can recall from my memory. And I think they're cute, and they were really, really fun to do. Just sort of checking out, because I've practiced, right? You know, if you're going to go into this and do something like this without having practiced from reference before, likely you're going to be a bit bummed out by the results. But I like to do like practice, you know, look at reference, build up that way, and then try doing it without reference and just see how it goes. So this is my try of these without any pictures of mountains or anything. And just working on the value pattern, the relationships of the light and dark, and having fun. So I did these sketches. I think I was probably just watching Downton Abbey again. And on this side, I painted a little unicorn inspired by the deer that I had painted on the earlier page. So after drawing the deer and getting refamiliarized with the deer, I drew this one without any reference and turned it into a unicorn. So again, that's how I like to work in my sketchbooks. I don't do everything from reference in here because I'd spend a lot of time Googling and sitting in a Google hole, looking on Pinterest. But sometimes I just want to paint without having to look up at a computer screen. So here are some more of those landscapes. I just tape it off into 4 little scenes and then work on them all at the same time so that different layers can dry while I'm working on a different image. So I think I like this one on this page. This one's really cool too, because I got that foggy effect to work properly, and so I'm quite proud of that. And then on this side, I think my favorite is this one because the moon, I think the moon glow, just like it turned out so well. So the way I do this is I do like a thin wash with not a lot of pigment, and I leave a circle blank in the center. So it's like a light gray donut to start, and then I add in the rest of the wash with more pigment around the outer edge of the donut, and then it'll bleed out to something like this, if that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense, but if you'd like to see a tutorial of something like this, let me know in the comments down below, because I could probably do a sweet little tutorial about this, or maybe this too. Maybe like do two, like do like a moonlit seascape and a foggy mountain. Let me know, because I've been practicing, so I can probably relay that information to you. This one has some trees, some white cliffs over here, and then the last page here is just a few more runestones that I am going to scan shortly, literally after I film this, and edit and put on Redbubble on like a black background. So these will be like white stones on a black background. I think it'll look good. It's basically, I'm helping out a friend with some interior decoration for her new house by doing this. So I gotta make sure it's good because someone intends to purchase them. And that's the end of the sketchbook. Here's some more of those fake vintage stickers. I bet they're real stickers, just like scanned. Nobody's working on this specifically for it to become a fake sticker, right? It's just probably old actual vintage things. But that's the sketchbook. Overall, I like the paper. If you're interested in getting this SMLT Art authentic book, obviously it's quite short, but then again, it is also quite cheap. I think this was $11 Canadian, which is a really good price for a nice sketchbook, and the paper's fine. It's not got a lot of tooth, and it's not got a lot of texture, so if you like sort of a smoother paper, I find this one is quite lifty. It doesn't stain super readily, so your your paint will lift if you want it to, and sometimes if you don't want it to as well. So something to keep in mind. But yeah, for $11, not bad at all. And it does come with like a little, basically a bookmark with an elastic around it, so you can keep it closed in your bag or whatever. But I actually just took it out and I'm using it as a bookmark for the novel I'm reading. I'm reading The Two Towers right now, so I've got that in my book. So you get like a free bookmark, $11 for 24 pages and a free bookmark. That's pretty cool. If you liked this video, if you want to see more sketchbook tours, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button if you liked this. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!